You send a letter, send an email. It gets there right now. We have a post office that makes $13 billion a year, and it's only for old stubborn guys in junk mail, pretty much. Nobody sends a letter. You got a letter from somebody under 45 recently? That is the creepiest feeling in the world. Nothing good comes in a letter. It's ransom notes, anthrax, and old stubborn fuckers. That's it. Our grandkids are gonna be confused when we try to explain that. Grandpa, what was paper? Well, it was made from trees. What were trees, Grandpa? It's not important, son. We've got oxygen tanks now. What you'd do is you'd write your little letter on a piece of paper, and then you'd fold it up and put it inside of another piece of paper that had a little door on it. It was called an envelope. Some people called it an envelope. Those people were fucking lunatics. And then you'd go down to a dangerous, uncomfortable place and wait around for hours until finally you got to talk to an angry man with an inexpensive haircut. And that person would sell you a little sticker that you'd put on your envelope. Then you'd give it back to him. Why? We don't know, son. We never did. And then that man would take that letter and shove it in a slot in the back wall where there were more angry people from bad families. Those people would sort through that garbage and put it on a truck. And that's when they would deliver my letter? No, son, not even close. That's when they would put it on an airplane. It would travel hither and yon across the country, sometimes for weeks. Until eventually someone discovered it was on the wrong aircraft. And then they'd put it on the right plane, and it would go to the town near the address you had on the envelope. And it would go to that post office, usually run by an old woman with a beehive hairdo and a bad marriage. And she would sort through those envelopes, and then she'd put them in canvas bags and wait around for her misshapen relatives to show up in broken down vehicles they drove from the passenger seat with their left hand and foot. And they would slide envelopes into the mailboxes all around the dirt road counties. And that's when they would deliver my letter? No, son, not yet. That's when they would mistakenly deliver it to the neighbor of the person you wanted it to go to. And that person, based on his relationship with his neighbor, would decide whether or not that son of a bitch was gonna get his goddamn mail. I think I've heard of the post office, Grandpa. You probably did, son. It was a $13 billion industry. The one thing we do know is that every person that helped to deliver that letter along the way eventually picked up an automatic weapon and shot everybody inside. That's where I've heard of them, Grandpa.